Tribals are an important group of society. They are the native of any society and are often characterized by their traditional and primitive culture. Although there doesn't exist any well defined definition of tribes among social scientists, many have made an attempt to describe and define tribes. For example, the reputed sociologist late D.N. Mazumdar, he defined a tribe is a social group with territorial affiliations, endogamous, with no specialization of functions, ruled by tribal officers, hereditary or otherwise, united in language and dialect, recognizing social distance from other tribes or caste, but without any stigma attached in case of caste structure, following tribal traditions, beliefs, and customs, illiberal of naturalization of ideas from alien sources. Above all, conscious of a homogeneity of ethnic and territorial integration. So, some common characteristics of tribes are that they lead a primitive way of life, their habitation is mostly in remote areas, they have a specific language and a way of communication, and they have traditional values, beliefs, and concerns. So, in India, there are a number of tribes residing in various states, which includes the Gond, Kond, Munda, Orao, Naga, Bhil. The term scheduled tribe was included in the Indian Constitution in order to provide special care to the tribes. Constitution makes special provisions for STs or the scheduled tribes in social sectors and employment opportunities. Historically, tribes of India they have seen they have been seen as isolationist population on account of the policies of the British rulers who treated them as excluded or partially excluded. When the country gained independence, these policies of exclusion were replaced by policies of integration and development. So, separate schedules were made the part of the constitution with the aim to protect the tribal interest. Fifth and sixth schedule of the constitution seeks to preserve and protect tribal interest by allowing them self-governance through autonomous district level institutions. These institutions are entrusted with the twin task of protecting tribal culture and customs and undertaking developmental tasks. The Government of India in 1996 enacted the PESA, means its acronym Panchayat Extension to Schedule Areas Act. The act made it mandatory for the state governments with fixed schedule areas to make legislative provisions in order to give wide ranging powers to tribals on the matters relating to decision making and development of their communities. It seeks to provide them rights on their resources. The Act also empowers Gram Sabha to take decisions for community development. It empowers the Gram Sabha to control social sector functionaries, own minor forest produce, manage the water bodies, be consultant for land acquisition, and give recommendations for mining lease. The provisions of PESA Act makes it unique in its nature. It is probably the first law in post-independence era which attempts to preserve tribal culture and work in the arena of tribal development. Now let's talk about the concept of community development, which was adopted by India in 1952 with the starting up of Community Development Plan CDP by the Government of India. Later, a committee headed by B.R. Mehta in 1957 recommended the setting up of local self-government, the setting up of which gave a boost to the community development initiatives. The enactment of 73rd and 74th Amendment Act, which accorded a constitutional status to local self-government institutions, provided a new dimension to community development. It seeks to devolve power to local population. Since then, India is carrying on the journey of community development. Minority groups. These are a social group that doesn't constitute a politically dominant voting majority of the total population in a given society. In socio-economic terms, minorities, these are referred as socially subordinate ethnic group. So the United Nations Declaration of December 1992, it states that state shall be protecting the existence of the national or ethnic, cultural, religious and linguistic identity of minorities within their respective territories and encourage conditions for the promotion of that identity. India, under the aegis of this declaration, enacted the National Commission of Minorities Act 1992. Under this act, government set up the National Commission of Minorities (NOM) to safeguard the interest of minorities. The government of India recognizes the 5 groups as minority groups. They are Muslims, Sikh, Christians, Buddhists and Zoroastrians. So the NCM is currently headed by Shri Iqbal Singh Lalpura.